The atmosphere around Ibrox feels tense and expectant as Rangers edge closer to another crucial domestic night, with preparations thrown slightly off course by a late concern that has everyone talking. The focus has shifted sharply back to league business, and yet the build-up has not been smooth, with uncertainty creeping in at exactly the wrong moment, when margins are already tight and patience is wearing thin. Any disruption carries extra weight, and this latest development has forced difficult conversations behind the scenes as the coaching staff weigh risk against necessity. All eyes are now fixed on the condition of Bojan Mioski, whose recent resurgence has come at a time when Rangers desperately need a reliable presence at the sharp end. The striker left the European defeat in Budapest nursing a knock, and while there is cautious optimism, nothing has been fully ruled out. The timing could hardly be worse. Just as confidence seemed to be flowing back into his game, the question of availability has become a pressing one. His goal in Hungary was not just a finish, it was a statement, an explosive moment of quality that briefly reignited belief on a frustrating night. The acrobatic strike showcased instinct, bravery, and a growing comfort within the system, all qualities that have been building steadily over recent weeks. That goal, however, could not prevent another damaging result on the continental stage, and with European hopes now fading into the background, domestic consistency has become the absolute priority. The challenge is that Rangers cannot afford to lose momentum in attack, especially when the schedule ahead is demanding and rotation options are already limited. Mioski's form has been a rare bright spark, and his recent output suggests a player finally settling after a slow adaptation period. Early struggles saw him searching for rhythm and confidence, but patience has begun to pay off. What started as a difficult run with minimal returns has rapidly turned into a burst of productivity that has lifted both the player and the supporters. The strike at Rugby Park felt like a release, a turning point where movement sharpened and decision-making became quicker. That confidence carried into Europe, where his willingness to take responsibility stood out even as the team faltered around him. Now, the concern is whether that momentum will be stalled by injury, even if only temporarily. Internally, there is hope that the issue is nothing more than the after effects of a heavy challenge, but no one is willing to gamble without clarity. The next couple of days are pivotal, not just for one match, but for how Rangers manage the weeks that follow. Hibernian's visit brings its own pressures, and Rangers know that dropping points at home would only deepen the sense of frustration that has lingered since Europe slipped away. Having a forward in form can change the mood instantly, and Mioski's presence alters how opponents set up, how space is created, and how belief spreads through the side. Without him, adjustments would be required, and while alternatives exist, none offer the same combination of physicality and confidence that he currently brings. Beyond the immediate concerns up front, there is a wider narrative unfolding around squad development and long-term planning. One of the standout performers this season has been Jadon Gassama, whose impact has exceeded expectations following his arrival earlier in the campaign. Signed as a relatively low-risk addition during a turbulent summer, the winger has quickly established himself as a genuine threat, offering pace, direct running, and a consistent end product in a team that has often struggled to break opponents down. His numbers speak loudly in a season where positives have been hard to come by. Goals and assists have arrived at key moments, and his willingness to take defenders on has added an edge that has been missing in recent years. That kind of contribution does not go unnoticed, and interest from abroad has begun to gather pace, with clubs monitoring his progress closely as the next transfer window approaches. Rangers find themselves at a crossroads with Gassama. On one hand, his influence on the pitch is undeniable, particularly during a period of transition where stability is desperately needed. On the other, financial realities and squad restructuring plans mean that significant offers cannot be dismissed lightly. The valuation being discussed reflects both his current importance and his potential resale value, and the decision will have to balance short-term competitiveness with longer-term sustainability. The player himself has continued to focus on performances, showing little outward distraction. As speculation grows, that professionalism has only strengthened his standing among supporters who see him as one of the few players capable of changing games on his own. Losing such a figure mid-season would be a gamble, especially when attacking options are already under scrutiny due to fitness concerns elsewhere in the squad. Behind closed doors, the conversation is ongoing, shaped by the need to support the manager's vision while ensuring the club remains competitive on all fronts. Rangers are navigating a delicate phase where every decision carries consequences beyond the next match. With pressure mounting and expectations never easing, the coming weeks promise to be defining, not just in terms of results, but in shaping the direction the club chooses to take as it looks to regain authority and confidence domestically. As the focus sharpens on the immediate challenges, there is a clear sense that Rangers are standing at a moment where small margins could define the rest of the season. The squad is being stretched not only by fixtures, but by expectation, and every selection decision now feels amplified. The uncertainty surrounding key players has exposed how thin the line is between stability and disruption, particularly in attacking areas where confidence can rise and fall at pace. The coming run of matches is unforgiving, and Rangers know that rhythm, once broken, can be difficult to recover. What complicates matters further is the emotional weight carried into each home game. Ibrox remains a place where standards are unforgiving, and recent European disappointment has only intensified the demand for immediate domestic response. Supporters are looking for signs of authority, control, and hunger, especially against opponents who will arrive organized and eager to frustrate. The pressure to start fast, to dominate territory, and turn possession into goals is constant, and that pressure inevitably feeds back into the players on the pitch. The attacking structure has shown glimpses of cohesion, but it still relies heavily on individual moments to unlock stubborn defenses. That is why the form of players like Mioski and Gassama has taken on such importance. Their confidence spreads through the side, creating space, drawing defenders out of position, and allowing midfield runners to commit forward with greater belief. Without that edge, Rangers risk becoming predictable, recycling possession without penetration, something that has frustrated everyone connected to the club in recent months. There is also an underlying sense that this period is about more than just points on the table. It is about establishing an identity under the current management, setting standards that will carry into the future. That process is rarely smooth, particularly when inherited squads require adjustment and certain profiles do not fully align with the long-term vision. Patience is often demanded, yet results are always expected, creating a tension that defines life at a club of this stature. Within that context, any talk of player movement naturally raises concern. Selling a player in form can feel like a step backwards, even when the financial logic is sound. Rangers have been here before, balancing immediate needs with strategic planning, and the outcome of those decisions has varied. The current situation demands clarity and conviction, ensuring that any changes strengthen rather than weaken the collective. At the same time, competition within the squad must be maintained. Players pushing for places, sensing opportunity when injuries arise, can inject energy and urgency into training and matchday performances. That internal pressure is healthy provided it is channeled correctly. The challenge lies in maintaining cohesion while navigating uncertainty, keeping focus on preparation rather than speculation. Defensively, Rangers are equally aware that control starts at the back. Clean sheets have been elusive at times, and lapses in concentration have undone otherwise solid spells of play against domestic opponents who thrive on counter-attacks and set pieces. Discipline and organization will be essential. The demand is not only to score, but to manage games more effectively, reducing chaos and protecting leads with authority. Midfield balance will also be key, particularly in transitions. The ability to regain possession quickly and dictate tempo can ease pressure on the defense and create sustained attacking phases. When Rangers have managed that, performances have improved noticeably. When they have not, matches have become fragmented, allowing opponents belief and momentum. All of these elements feed into the broader narrative of a season still searching for its defining stretch. There have been flashes of progress, moments where the pieces appear to fit, followed by setbacks that halt momentum. The task now is to string those positive moments together, building consistency rather than chasing redemption after each disappointment. The upcoming fixtures offer both risk and opportunity. Wins would restore confidence, steady the atmosphere, and allow the team to build without constant scrutiny. Any slip, however, would invite further questions and intensify debate around direction and decision-making. That reality is understood within the dressing room, where focus remains firmly on preparation and execution rather than noise from outside. As Rangers move deeper into this phase of the campaign, the sense is that answers will soon be demanded, not promised. Performances must reflect ambition, resilience, and control, qualities that define successful sides at this level. The foundation is there, but it requires reinforcement through consistency and belief, especially on nights when pressure is highest and patience is tested, because what happens next will shape not only the weeks ahead, but the wider perception of where this Rangers side is truly heading as the season unfolds. Looking beyond the immediate fixtures, there is a growing awareness that Rangers are entering a phase where resilience will matter just as much as quality. Just as the campaign has already delivered its share of frustration, yet it has also revealed moments where the squad has responded positively to pressure. The challenge now is to transform those isolated responses into a sustained pattern, one that reflects authority rather than reaction. In an environment as demanding as Ibrox, that distinction is critical, because supporters can sense when a team is merely coping rather than imposing itself. The physical demands of the schedule cannot be ignored. Matches are coming thick and fast, recovery windows are shrinking, and the risk of fatigue hangs over every selection choice. Managing minutes becomes a strategic exercise, particularly when key players are carrying minor issues that could easily worsen if misjudged. Rangers have learned the hard way how quickly a thin squad can be stretched, and that awareness is shaping every decision being taken behind the scenes at the moment. Mentally, this period is equally taxing. Confidence in football is fragile, built over time, but lost in seconds, and Rangers have experienced both extremes this season. Strong performances have been followed by flat ones, leaving a sense that the team is still searching for its emotional baseline. Establishing that consistency requires leadership on the pitch, players willing to take responsibility when momentum shifts and calm is required. Those moments often define matches more than tactical tweaks or substitutions. There's also the question of how Rangers evolve in possession. Too often, dominance of the ball has not translated into sustained pressure. Opponents have been allowed to regroup, defend deep, and wait for mistakes to exploit. Breaking that cycle demands sharper movement, between the lines, quicker decision-making, and a collective understanding of when to accelerate the game. When that tempo increases, Rangers look dangerous and assertive. When it drops, frustration seeps in and confidence drains away. The supporters remain a powerful force in all of this. Their expectations are high, but so is their loyalty, and the atmosphere they create can elevate performances when belief is visible. Players feed off that energy, particularly at home, where the demand for intensity from the first whistle is unmistakable. Giving the crowd something to respond to early can shift the dynamic of a match, turning pressure into momentum rather than anxiety. Younger players within the squad are also feeling the weight of this period. Development does not happen in isolation, and being exposed to high-pressure situations can accelerate growth or expose limitations. How they respond will shape not only the present campaign, but the longer-term structure of the team. Rangers need these players to step forward, to show bravery and composure, even when the margin for error feels slim. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. A low rumble has been running through the Scottish game since word began to leak from Ibrox corridors, and now it's grown into a full-blown murmur that refuses to be ignored. James BISGROVE, a figure long viewed as measured and cautious in public, is being linked to a revelation that has set tongues wagging from Govan to the Granite City. Nobody is quite sure who heard it first, but the story spread quickly enough to suggest there might be more than smoke in the air. The chatter suggests BISGROVE has lifted the lid on internal matters at Rangers that few outside the boardroom were meant to hear. Some say it concerns the direction of the club. Others whisper about decisions made behind closed doors that could reshape how Rangers are run in the months ahead. What's certain is that the mere hint of his comments has been enough to unsettle supporters who pride themselves on strength, unity, and transparency around the training ground and in city centre cafes. The talk is cautious but intense. Rangers folk are used to pressure, yet this feels different. There's a sense that something fundamental has been questioned, perhaps even challenged, by someone who knows the machinery of the club better than most. BISGROVE's name carries weight, and that's why the rumour has bite. Had it come from a lesser voice, it might have been brushed aside as idle gossip. No official word has emerged, and that silence only feeds the speculation. Supporters are reading between the lines, pundits are choosing their words carefully, and rival fans are watching with keen interest. Whether this proves to be a storm in a teacup or the first crack in a larger structure remains to be seen. For now, Scottish football waits, listening closely as the BISGROVE rumour continues to echo through the game. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel too, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned